All right. I assume Peter said we're on. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. It's great to see all of your smiling, happy faces. I forgot to open up the show before we started, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay, joining me today is my host and co-host Peter of Gonna Go For It fame. Welcome back.
Hello. It's good to be back, even though it's a dangerous date.
A dangerous date?
Yeah, you're not there yet, but here's Friday the 13th.
Uh, we have two Friday the 13th in a row. Isn't that cool? Both February and March, we're going to get Friday the 13th, which is fun. And also joining us is one of my editors, Nestlig. Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Busy, so the usual. But I'm happy to be back again.
Good, very good. Yes, we're glad to have you. Let's see who all is. Okay, I'm finally there. Okay, we got in the live chat Fibonacci 8, Tabula Rasa 0606. Welcome everybody. We got Smitty. We got Ashley. Hello. I forgot the opening prayer. My bad. We'll do it at the end. We'll do a closing prayer. How about that? Okay, so let's see. What's been going on in the world? Epstein files, that's been a thing. The thing I mean that's gonna be ongoing.
Can I make one remark since Smitty's here? Smitty, tell Christy to get back to work. She's had a long vacation. She needs to get back.
Oh, Marzak, hello.
That was my little thing.
We have shields instead of wrenches now. Oh, that is interesting. Hivesci, hello. Yeah, you guys have shields. That's very interesting. How intriguing. Whack. Okay. So yeah, the Epstein stuff is happening. I don't think anything will come of that until we have another president in charge. So you're just gonna have to keep watching the files drop and nothing happen to anyone for the next 3 years? Ever, possibly. Oh my gosh, Nestle, you're roboting.
No, you're staticking.
Or staticking, yeah, that's right. The thing that's
am I still staticking?
No, you're good.
Nope.
I don't know why it does that. Right.
The thing that really got my attention this past week was, maybe you guys have seen this. Candace Owens said that she and Charlie Kirk would astral project together.
Of course.
So Candace Owens is doing an interview and she says that she and Charlie would talk about how whenever he walked past lights, they would flicker and he would astral project, and he had a third eye that he could use to do whatever. I don't remember.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, ketamine, whatever they're doing. Yeah. And then the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, confirmed this. She also said in an interview that lights would flicker when Charlie walked past them. I don't know if
so. Charlie was a demigorgon.
Your guess is good as mine. I'm the thing that's so I could believe Candace genuinely believes that, because she seems like she's actually insane. I mean, she thinks that dinosaurs didn't exist. She said she was a what'd she call herself? She said she was not unconvinced. She was a centrist on the question of the shape of the earth, I think is what she said. So I can believe that she believed that. Erica Kirk, on the other hand, I don't know. It seemed to me that she what do you call it? She doesn't believe anything, because as soon as Charlie died, she was doing tours. She goes on stage to flamethrowers, and it's a WWE event, She was caught on she like hot mic
Probably
the other day.
the happiest widow
talking
on the
about how much
planet
money they
right
made.
now.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah. So it's
My husband is
when
dead.
my
Let's
friend
put
Charlie
on a
walked past
glitter
Lightspeed.
suit and put up some fireworks and let's enjoy the evening.
My favorite memes are people saying, "What stage of grief is this?"
Yeah,
Um,
it's a
yeah,
stage, all right.
it's crazy. It's a stage, yeah.
Yeah.
I must have missed the stage where you get untold amounts of money. I suppose I missed
I
that
think
part.
the stage is called Profit.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Maybe
it's,
Charlie was a prophet. Now she's making profit off of him, you know?
Yeah. Where have the days gone that Charlie's ex-wife said women belong in the home as long as they have children. They don't need to go to work. They need to take care of their children. And now look what happened.
Yeah. Smitty, you joke, but that's basically what she said. She said, so Smitty said, look, some people think Earth is curved, some think it's flat. I'm an enlightened centrist who believes in Pringle Earth. She really did say she was like a centrist on the question of the shape of the Earth. So maybe she believes in Velociraptor Earth. Personally, I think that's a cooler shape than either a sphere or a pizza. You know, I think Velociraptor Earth would be cool.
Well, there's a movement that thinks that the Earth is a donut. I like that too. You can go round and round and round.
Okay.
I mean, people are nuts.
I love the Hollow Earth people. I think that's fun. We need someone to do like a cube Earth. Someone needs to like really argue for cube Earth.
That would be cool
But
too.
we'll see, I guess.
God created several worlds, each on their own side of the cube. We're on top, obviously, because we're the chosen ones. And then the lesser ones are on the side, and then the terrible ones are on the bottom. Which would be the Australians.
The red-headed stepchildren. Yeah.
The Australians.
The Australians. Yes. Oh, I wanted to give you guys an update. RJ and I are hot on the trail of Rocks Volume 2. We are plugging away. So we've finished chapter 1 and 2. RJ was working for a very long time on chapter 3, and it shows it's extraordinarily long. So I am now editing chapter 3. I sent chapters 4 and 5 to him, so he's editing those right now. And he'll send those back to me once he's done. I believe he's already written chapter 6. And so really, once we get through editing those, I only have to write chapter 7, which is about human evolution. And then once we do that, boom, done. So we are getting close. We're getting close. You should all be very excited.
That is cool.
Yeah. A donut planet is physically possible, but would be highly unstable. Bizarro Earth is cube, is it? Okay, that's cool. So yeah, so it's gonna be super long. The chapter 3 is about, or so I'm excited because chapters 1 and 2 are about creationists trying to shoehorn dinosaurs as monster myths. That's part of it. We talk about hold on, let me pull it up. Let me pull up the outline. I can tell you guys what it's about because it's the chapters are awesome.
While you pull that up, so
okay.
our dear friend Kent Hovind, I think this was in late 2024 or early 2025. He had a few Mormons over at Dinosaur Adventureland and was fundraising for them, even though they obviously go to hell because they're Mormons.
Right.
But so they wanted to fund an expedition to the Congo to go find
Mokele
Mbembe And so
Uh-huh.
they actually raised the money and went there and then came back to Hovind and said that they had discovered all kinds of things, and they claimed they had pictures and videos, and we haven't seen any of this. So a friend of mine
That's so
brought,
surprising to me.
yeah, a friend of mine called Big Bad Mama. He actually said, "Hey, let's go see if we can contact these people to see what they found, or whether or not all of this was just a scam to get money."
Okay.
And so I emailed them, and a few others emailed them. No reply whatsoever. Nothing.
Shock.
Yes.
I'm so shocked by that, Peter. That's so surprising to me.
Yes.
Okay, chapter 1. Okay, so I do remember now. Chapter 1 is all about the global flood. So we talk about the Noachian flood. We talk about how Genesis is written. We talk about like the relationship of the Noachian flood to other flood legends, about like Nephilim, about like, oh yeah, the mountain building. How would mountains have worked? What would people have eaten? Um, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is about creationists trying to shoehorn dinosaurs as monster legends, which was a lot of fun. Chapter 3, that's the space one, all about space, Big Bang, everything. Chapter 4 is about transitional fossils. I forgot, we've already finished that one, so that one's done. So chapters 1, 2, and 4 are done. I'm working on 3. RJ's working on 5.
You mentioned many transition fossils that are getting no attention from creationists, right? Like creation will often bring up Archaeopteryx and most of the human transitional fossils, right? But not, they won't focus on the transitional mammal fossils, for example.
Well, I mean, RJ wrote a whole book about that. That was
Yeah.
Evolution Slam Dunk, which if you guys haven't read it, it's really good. Evolution Slam Dunk is a great book. I highly recommend. Cryptozoology. Yes, we do. We discuss a lot of cryptozoology stuff in chapter 2 of Rocks 2. I actually had to.
Bree
I had to like
does
track down.
Bree does
Second?
shows on cryptozoology. I don't know if you have it,
okay.
Bree, but I actually have video of Mokele Mbembe swimming in a river. I have that video. It could also be an elephant with a raised trunk.
Oh, that's true.
Either of the two.
I knew a mammologist, so a scientist who studies mammals, who would go to the Congo to study bats. Never did he ever talk about finding Mokele Mbembe.
There.
It's funny how creationists go there and they claim to find evidence of Mokele Mbembe every time.
Well,
but various.
The weird thing is, Jackson, that so they have been studying the entire area over there where Mokele Mbembe could be, and they have on satellite images identified elephants, no dinosaurs, which should be slightly larger,
right? Because if there's a Mokele Mbembe is down there, there's a sauropod. It's not one. There's a population of sauropods down there. There's going to be multiple ones. So where the heck are these guys? That's what cryptozoology people never think about, is where the heck are all of these animals living? There's never just one. There's not one chupacabra, one Mothman, one Bigfoot. There's multiple of each of these. They live in a population that occupies some area. They consume some sort of food. They leave fecal matter behind, right? Like, where's the evidence? And I mean, no, it's fair to say none of the people.
There's one exception, though. I don't know if I still have the link to that video, but that one was hilarious. These people claimed that Bigfoot can shapeshift into a moth. And that's why we
Okay.
can't see them, because
like a big moth or a tiny,
Sure,
a normal size moth.
they actually had video of it and said, "There, see, that's a Bigfoot," and there's just some insect flying around in front of the camera.
So it's a normal size moth.
Yes, but it then materializes back into this large ape
Man.
kind of thing. I need to
Sometimes-
go back and find that video again. I
Whatever
planned,
drug they're on. They
yeah,
need
I
to get
planned a
off.
show a while back, and I found a channel which has the most outrageous claims. They've got UFOs, they've got Bigfoot, they've got everything. But I've never heard such outrageous claims. They actually had footage of this moth flying around, claiming that that was Bigfoot because they just saw it outside and now it was inside, so that had to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Nestle, have you watched Smiling Friends?
Oh yes, yeah. Not like I've seen clips, but I have not seen the episodes themselves. So,
Oh, okay. One of the
but I get the gist of it. Yeah.
So there's one episode where Charlie and Pim get abducted by aliens, so they go hang out with a bunch of
Mhm.
like ufology people, and one of them is like, "Oh my god, aliens are real!" when they get picked up, and I think it'd be very funny if a lot of cryptozoology people were like just in it for the lulz, but then they find something like, "Oh my god, it's they were serious." Big footage.
Have you also seen the ending of that episode?
Oh yeah, where they
Yeah, they fly home in the spaceship and they see the flat Earth, and they're like,
Yes.
oh my god, this changes everything. This I
Yeah.
think it's still funny. I think so. I mean, like, the
Camilla
whole
and I-
joke is like this doesn't change everything. Like, wow, who cares what the shape of the Earth is? They're
Yeah.
like overreacting over the whole shape.
I enjoy it. So I watched the first like season, then I had Camilla watch it. She really enjoys it. And so we've watched the rest of it together. She likes it. It's for anyone who hasn't seen it, Smiling Friends is an absurd show. But the guys who do it also do a lot of YouTube stuff. A lot of them are like animators on YouTube, and they do some really funny videos. One of them I watched the episode of Smiling Friends. It was okay. Well, I mean, yeah, they have an odd sense of humor, so if it's not your cup of tea, I get it. At any rate, okay. Are we ready to watch Climate Change the movie?
Yes. Let's make it. As I said in my tweet, we'll make it a movie night.
Yeah. You guys remember back when Sai used to do the movies? That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
He's right. Based.
This is the story of how an eccentric environmental scare grew into a powerful global industry.
Why does it
It's
sound
a
like Liam
wonderful
Neeson?
business opportunity, okay? You want climate, we'll give you climate.
There's a huge amount of money involved, and this is a huge
Let's pause for a second.
money scam.
Okay, so remember the people. Two things. First of all, I want to point out that the people who are funding the creation of this video are oil executives. Okay, it is
Every
fossil-
accusation is a confession.
Right. Every accusation is a confession. The fossil fuel industry, ExxonMobil, what? Shell's over ExxonMobil.
Yeah.
Hate to break it.
Is
I
the
hate to
Shell-
break it to
Shell
you,
a separate one?
Jackson, but that means they're right. That means that
There is
the
big money
movie
in this.
is all about the money.
They're right. I
Yeah,
mean, they're
just
absolutely
not
correct.
just
Yeah,
not the money you're thinking
Also,
of.
also
the Koch brothers. You know, all
yeah.
these different groups are all these fossil fuel billionaires, right? So they pay
Also,
for the creation of this material. Oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Nessie.
I was sorry. Like the person who was just talking, I recognize his voice. He was the same person who Potholer 54 was debunking for a long time ago. Like what was his name
Oh,
again? He has a his avatar is a terrier, a like, small terrier dog. That's his avatar, and the Potholer 54 was debunking him for a long time, a very long time ago.
that's not
In
Lord
the
Monkton, is it?
No, no, no. It's I
No.
forgot his name. Let's see
I don't
here.
know.
Potholer 54.
But
He distinctive voice.
okay, he kind of reminds me of Liam Neeson. His voice does. Um, but yeah, I mean, hit one climate, please. Yeah, these are oil executives, fossil fuel industry executives who are paying, you know, millions of dollars every year, if not billions of dollars, to fund groups that deny climate change. So it's really funny to me that people, that the people who are paid by these oil executives have the audacity to say, it's a big business, this climate change research. I mean, look at the scientists who don't ever get rich from doing this. Like look at the like where did Greta Thunberg make her money? She makes it like off of book sales and donations. Like what are we talking about? The scientists who are like atmospheric physicists, the climatologists, the ecologists, these people work at universities and make like enough to pay the bills. Like what are we talking about? These aren't millionaires, they're not billionaires. They're just random people. It's so ludicrous. The whole like people talk about the grant money is like, oh, it's going to, millions of dollars of grant money is going to these organizations. Like it's going to do the research. That money does not go to the scientists themselves. It's a fund that they use to do the research. And if they have leftover funds, the money goes back. It doesn't go to them. Like people just fundamentally don't understand how how grants work. That's just what Big Climate wants you to think, says Ashley. True. Big Climate does want me to think that. Did you figure it out, Nestle?
Not yet, but maybe somebody else in the comments know what I'm talking.
Okay.
But like a very long time ago, like many years ago, Potholer was debunking one specific person, and the avatar that specific person used was a terrier dog for some reason, but I forgot his name. And the same voice as the one you just heard from this video.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep going, and then if you find it, we'll circle back.
There are not just now billions, but there are trillions of dollars at stake.
It's a story of self-interest and big government funding.
People like me, our careers depend on funding of climate research. This is what I've been doing just about my whole career. This is what the other climate researchers are doing with their whole
I'm sorry,
career.
I forgot the other thing. I forgot the other thing I was going to say. Is Greta's right with regard to this myth of infinitely growing profits? I despise the way that people talk about what they call the birth rate problem with humans. So in a lot of countries, our birth rate drops unless we have significant sources of immigration like we do here in the US. And this is due in large part to people having better lives, right? So as people get educated, they spend less time potentially family making. So they spend more time working jobs. They go into careers, and then they have less time to, get married, have babies, and all that sort of stuff. And so in a lot of countries, especially a lot of highly developed countries, the birth rate has gone down pretty significantly. And people like Elon Musk, who I also despise, talk about this as though like, oh my God, it's such a big problem. Then I think you have to ask, okay, if it is a problem for what or how? And what they essentially always mean is a problem for infinitely growing profits. Because if the population is not infinitely growing, you can't have this infinitely growing profits. But of course, where would we put all these people? And also, you can't really turn back the clock on the declining birth rate unless you want to make lives worse for a lot of people. So it's not really an option, right? And the people who they don't want, and because a lot of them are racist too, so they're like, oh, it's a problem that, you know, in countries with black and brown people, they're, you know, multiplying at rates faster than in white countries. Like, well, I don't care. I don't care. I
And
can't
the,
bring
and the
myself to
reason
care.
why it's economical, because they are now in the their industrial revolution is now undergoing. And
Right.
they are having the same trend as we already had in the
Yes.
developed world. Yeah.
Right. Their population is going to ramp up, and then once they get to a point where people are living long lives, there's you know, the chance of people dying in like childbirth and whatnot goes down, or the chance of losing kids at a young age goes down. Their population is going to kind of stabilize, and then the birth rate will drop. You can't really stop this at this point. It's pretty well understood how this works, and so it's very silly to me that people argue about this.
And the people who like saying like, oh, in 50 years, only 10% will be white in Europe. Like, no, it's not how you cannot continue a trend like that even.
Mhm. So Smitty makes a fair point. So population collapse is a problem for caring for the elderly. Yes, I agree. That is an actual issue.
Yes.
You're right.
Mhm.
That is one type of issue that we could actually talk about and try to come up with ways to try to mitigate. But I've almost never see people talk about population in terms of, or population decline in terms of like caring for the elderly. But you are absolutely right, Smitty.
That's also
Go
a
ahead.
recent issue in the Netherlands as well. Like the recently formed cabinet in our country, they are now proposing to increase the age of retirement, which is of course pisses many people off. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They already did that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
But now they are like increasing it to like 72.
72.
72. Yeah.
Dang.
Is it because older people have proven to be great presidents?
The thinking goes is like the expected age increases, so we are going to adjust the age of retirement along with the expected age
Of course.
of the population. Yeah.
You know what's really funny? I'm sure you guys have heard of this reminded me of how FDR said, he was like, if you don't allow me to pass New Deal policies, I'm going to pack the Supreme Court. And the way he did that was he was going to force a motion in Congress to set age limits for the Supreme Court. Do you know what the age limit he wanted to set was?
No.
70.
Mhm.
He wanted to set 70 as the age, and they said, all right, we won't touch it then. We won't touch your policies. Is that not crazy? 70. God.
Yeah. Now everybody is like 80 in Congress.
But I think the last three presidents have, you know, Trump, then Biden, then Trump again, have been the oldest president each time. Each one has been the oldest president. It's crazy.
The boomer generation does not want to let go of the seat of power in the world.
No, they sure don't. Good God.
Sorry, Peter.
Well, at least the taking care of the current one, because he just had his second annual test of this year. How's that even possible?
Also, don't worry, Jackson. Trump is aging in reverse. He is aging in reverse, I've heard.
In
He's
his
aging in reverse.
in his head, he might be.
Okay. That might be true. All right, let's keep going.
I don't want this to end. If CO2 isn't having the huge negative impacts that we claimed it was having originally, how are we going to stay in business?
A lot of people's livelihoods depend on it. They're not going to give that up.
This is a story of the corrupt
Is it just me, or does that guy look like Kramer but older?
Also, the voice you just heard again, the same voice. I figured out his name. He is named Tony Heller. That's his name.
Oh, okay.
Tony Heller. Yeah.
That name doesn't.
And
ring a bell.
Potholer did a series of videos debunking him over 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Yeah.
Was that the
Well,
guy?
that's just yesterday, you know?
Was that the guy that looks like Kramer but older?
No, he's talking about the guy who's doing the voiceover, the narrator.
Ah, okay.
No, not the voiceover. Can you go back a bit and then play it?
Yeah, one of the people on screen, you mean?
Yeah, the one with the very very peculiar soft voice. Not the narrator, but the one that
This is. Let me see. This is so tricky. Okay, let's see.
They don't want this to end.
Oh, that didn't go down well.
Uh-oh.
What the
Oh,
hell
God.
happened? What the hell happened now?
They don't want this to end.
This is
Oh no.
not good.
What?
It isn't having the huge
Oh,
negative
there it
impacts that we claimed it was having originally. How are we going to stay in business?
A lot
Oh,
of
pause for a
people's
second.
livelihood.
Also,
That
Okay,
guy.
so-
this guy. This
that
guy.
guy.
This the
Okay, so
guy.
that guy. That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about. Okay.
That's Kramer, but just older.
Okay. Older Kramer. Okay.
Yes.
So one thing I think is really funny about this narrative of scientists is like it's always, you know, scientists get grant money to study a thing, and if that thing weren't real, the grant money would all dry up. I have a counter proposal. Maybe they would just study something else. Did we ever consider that? Maybe they would just say, okay, it turns out this hypothesis was wrong. I'm going to go down a different avenue of research now. Like, what do you think happens? Do you think they just get fired? Like, oh, that avenue of research was wrong. You're gone. You can't do research. Like, no, that's not how research works.
It depends.
if you
If
go-
you're a creationist, then it's fine. You can just carry on and
Yeah,
keep,
exactly.
keep getting
I
funded.
was just about to make the same point. You can just do nothing and still earn a lot of money apparently by making a boat with stuffed animals, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't
A boat that won't float. Yeah.
a boat that won't. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Well, in general, I know that people don't understand anything about science or about how the process of grant funding works or anything like that. But these guys, I believe, are scientists. I think somebody last time we were going to watch this, I can't remember who it was. Somebody like wrote down the names of all the people in this, and I think most of them are like scientists of different stripes. So it's really weird to me. I mean, maybe it shouldn't be weird. It's part of the grift. Maybe I should just accept it and move on. You know, like it's part of the lie, whatever. Maybe that's all there is to it. Anyway, we can keep going.
It's depend on it. They're not going to give that up.
This is a story of the corruption of science.
There's no such thing as a climate emergency happening on this planet now.
And that's a familiar
There's
face.
no evidence of one.
The climate alarm is nonsense.
It's also
you
a
know,
familiar
it's a
face.
hoax. I've never liked hoax. I think scam is a better word, but I'm willing to live with hoax.
It's a story about the bullying and intimidation of anyone who dares to challenge the climate alarm.
To speak up against or about climate change in any sort of skeptical way was essentially career suicide.
Activists are even
I mean, as it should
calling
be,
for
like,
any
you know, pause for a second.
skepticism.
Like as it should be. Once you have a theory in science that is a very good working model of how reality works, if you're still skeptical of it afterwards and you're still publishing papers that get rejected and you keep trying to publish them and they keep getting rejected and you go and try to claim like I'm being silenced. No, your data is crap, your methods are crap, you're bad at your job. Like You should be.
Be-
That should be career suicide.
They are of course they are equivocating being silenced with being not taken seriously. That's the thing.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Who was I think I was watching a Professor Dave video the other day, and he was talking about a guy who was a cardiologist who became an anti-vaxxer. And Dave showed
Did he debate him with Professor of the Bank de Funk with yeah.
maybe it might have been, but it was one of his scripted videos that I was watching the other day. But this guy's or was a cardiologist, I guess. But he lost his medical license or whatever. He used to actually publish papers on cardiology, and then he started writing a bunch of crap papers about COVID vaccines and things like that. And all of his papers got rejected, and the research or the reviewers went through the methodology and were like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. But he was like, I'm being silenced by big pharma or whoever. And Dave shows that the percentage of papers in medicine that get rejected is a very, very small percentage. But this guy successively had a bunch of rejected papers, which is unheard of. So it was interesting. And I'm sure these guys are in similar boats. That's why Nessa, do you remember we looked at a paper that someone had mentioned that was in an economics journal, but it was on climate change. And the paper was claiming something to the effect of there's no correlation between climate and between the temperature and with the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but it was because it was offset, the paper didn't take into account that you had to have more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere first before you would have a temperature change.
I don't recall exactly what paper that was.
So I don't remember the name of it, but we looked at it on stream one day. But at any rate, yeah, supporting flat Earth as a geologist is essentially career suicide. I mean, it's well, unless you work for RFK, then it's probably a mark in your favor. So we can keep going.
To be criminalized. It's the
Okay, that's a
story
little
of an
hyperbolic.
assault on individual freedom.
It's a wonderful way to increase government power. If there's an existential threat out there that's worldwide,
Isn't it
well,
funny
you
how
need
that didn't
a powerful
happen? How the
worldwide
opposite of that
government,
happened?
to cope with it.
We
Hey,
see
pause for a
all
second.
these kind of
So they always say this, right? They have this narrative of if climate change is real, the government's going to step in and take away our cars. But the exact opposite of that has happened. The Chevron doctrine has been repealed. The EPA literally today has repealed the ruling that carbon dioxide contributes to climate change, so that carbon dioxide emissions can't be monitored. That was done today. The idea that the EPA is running around stealing people's gas-powered cars is insane. It's buffoonery. These are the same idiots who
Also-
would say that the Democrats are coming for your guns. When is that happening? It's not. This is just a
But-
lie.
Fun fact: the current president is gonna come for your guns if you take them to a protest. Just wait and see what happens.
In the holster, yeah.
Yep, if you have a gun in a holster, yep, then that's grounds for you getting executed in the street, apparently.
Yep.
Also, the last person to pass gun control of any sort was, and this is true, Donald Trump in his first term when he by executive order did his bump stock ban. That was Trump. Now it got shot down, and I think pretty much every conservative I've ever heard talk about it is yeah, I didn't agree with that, but it was Donald Trump. Trump was the last person to, at a national level, go after guns. The Democrats aren't doing it. Biden didn't do anything about it. What are we talking about? It's every accusation is a confession, is what this is.
Also, whenever you hear somebody fear mongering about government want to get more power, you have to ask, the power to do what exactly? Well, in this case, it's the power to protect the public from pollution, and etc. Like, if you're asking, like, should the government be able to block a company from disposing its chemical waste in a public river, for example? And most people would say yes. So is that government overreach? Most would say no, of course.
Unless they work for that company, then it's okay.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's keep going.
Authoritarian measures being adopted in the name of saving the planet.
You've suddenly got the population under control all over the world.
Name one. Name any time that has ever happened.
We called it industrial progress. Since the Industrial Revolution, the development of free market capitalist mass production has made ever more goods ever more affordable to ever larger numbers of people. Mass production marched hand in hand with mass consumption.
Few
In the modern
asterisks
age,
there.
ordinary people enjoy a level of prosperity never before achieved in human history. But all the while, we're told we were destroying
Let's
the
pause
planet.
for a moment. So we are destroying the planet. Like, that's a thing we are objectively doing. Like pollution, forest fragmentation, ocean acidification. Even if you think climate change isn't real, which it is, the climate is heating up, and this is causing increased precipitation in certain areas, causing desertification, causing the shrinking of the Arctic, the Greenland ice sheet. All these things are objectively happening. But also, with regard to the capitalism thing, I think that's worth saying something for a moment. I'm not a communist. I don't really like I don't like calling myself any particular labels, really. I say I'm on the left. That's kind of all I'll say. Where exactly I am on the left, it kind of depends, I guess, on what we're talking about. But I don't really like labels. But at any rate, capitalism has, yes, definitely increased the standard of living over what came before it, right? I mean, we had like feudalism before capitalism, and I think a lot of people would agree that it's better to live in a capitalist society than a feudal society. Okay, fine, well and good. But also, we have to ask ourselves, why are a lot of people today upset with capitalism? Well, it's that, or at least the outcomes of capitalism, I guess you might say, because capitalism is just a tool, right? It's just a way of organizing our economics, right? There are other potential systems that we could pick, ways that we could tinker with it. But in the U.S., as Peter and I were literally talking about, or all three of us were talking about before the show started, for the last 50, for about maybe not quite 50 years, maybe closer to 50 years, we've been living in this neoliberal world where we've rolled back regulation after regulation. We've shrunk the size of the welfare state. We've made it harder for people to make their voices heard, and a lot of people are upset with their standing in life because they work a lot and they still can't afford a whole lot. They don't have good health care, if they have health care at all. Like a lot of people are upset by the life that they live, and because they don't have access to all the resources. And in the U.S., we don't have a good welfare system. It's like the worst in the developed world, because in part because of the way that our government's set up, in part because of we have a lot of people like the Conservative Party predominantly that's very opposed to expanding the size of the welfare state, even though it is popular among our populace. And so people turn inevitably towards other more extreme political parties, like the ones that we're seeing coming to the fore, not just in the U.S. with like Trumpism, but also with like in the UK with like with like the Reform Party and these far right parties led to Brexit, which was a terrible decision for the UK. And then you have like Marine Le Pen and Viktor Orban and Modi and all these, and what's his name in what is it, Argentina? No, Milei. Yeah. So you've got a whole bunch of these like far right populists bordering on fascists for some of them, who are tapping into
fake populists.
fake populists,
Yeah.
who are tapping into the upsetness that a lot of people do genuinely feel, but they don't know what to do with it, because in the US we basically have one. Well, that's not entirely fair. We have two parties that are in a lot of ways very similar, in ways that when they should be oppositions, or opposition to each other, but because of the way our system is set up, you have like a lot of median voter stuff going on where you can't really get more extreme political or policies one way or the other, simply because you get like Dems for a little bit, and maybe they push some policies in one direction, but then you get conservatives, they push policies in the other direction, and so you kind of wind up with something in the middle that's not really favorable for either side. And so, yeah, American populism is managed particularly incompetently, and America's blunders affect the whole world. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are upsides to capitalism, there are downsides to it, but in the US, we like to act like the downsides don't exist. We like to act like things like, having to work long hours in sucky jobs, having or for low pay. We like to act that like, oh, and we also outsource a lot of these problems to other countries. So like we bring in resources from like Central and South America or Africa, where we allow horrible abuses of human rights to occur, but so that we can get, as well as in Asia, so that we can get the resources that we need. Nestle, do you want to add on to that?
Oh yeah, I do want to also touch on the issue, like you mentioned, like left and the right, and you answer where you fit. Well, I believe that we are getting to the point where these terms are becoming outdated, because like, do you know where these terms have originated from? The term left.
The French Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The left, the people in favor of the monarchy were sitting on the right in a particular room, and the people who were against the monarchy, they were sitting on the left in a particular room. And that's why we say left and right in politics ever since, for 200 years, for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really bad. So I think these terms are now becoming very outdated, because right now, like, it is also funny. If you are asking a person, do you support this policy, without the left-right terms, without mentioning who the politician is who is arguing for these policies, if you're just asking, do you support this policy, most people would say yes, regardless where they self-identify in the political spectrum, because often they would just support, like very often a Trumpist would support like free healthcare, for example, a good example. Even a Trumpist would say yes to that.
Yeah, I mean, most abortion, well over half the country, it's like 60 or so percent are like in favor of abortion rights. Depending on like how you frame it. Most people are in favor of expanding the welfare state. Most people are in favor of environmental protection, of worker protection. Like a lot of things that seem progressive or left-wing are pretty well favored. We have a terrible system we have what's in the US, we have a majoritarian system. We don't have a proportional representative system. And so basically one party either wins or loses in each like district. Basically, you don't have like, okay, if 40% of the people in this country are, or let's just say if like 52% of people in the US are identify as Democrat and 48% identify as Republican, that doesn't mean that each House of Congress is going to be 52% to 48%. It depends entirely on how your districts are cut up, right? So there's like gerrymandering that can happen, and so you get to only elect like one person for representatives, for instance, in your district, and in your state, you only get to send 2 senators from your state, right? So like this system is not designed to meet the needs of everyone. It's literally not designed that way. I mean, you can go back to James Madison, who talked about defending the opulent minority against the majority. The system was never set up to have like democracy for everybody. And I'm not saying that having a republic is a bad thing. It's perfectly fine to have like a representative democracy. That's perfectly fine. We just need a much better system for doing it. We need a much better system than what we have currently. So I'm sorry, we're so far off right now.
I'm curious. Am I the only one who spotted the irony in the prosperity, the American prosperity video we just saw?
Oh, tell me.
So we saw a Lincoln from the 40s, and then a Cadillac from the 60s, and then we saw refrigerators, and then I thought of Thomas Mitchell Jr. That name ring a bell?
I don't think so.
So climate change is going to hurt us. And then they show us these old cars and refrigerators, which were made better by Thomas Mitchell Jr., who invented leaded gas and Freon in refrigerators. Both were harmful to humans and were fought against.
I don't remember. He is being called the one person who has poisoned the whole world because.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and both things took a long time to get rid of. Took a long time to get rid of leaded gas because it was so good. It prevented knocking in the engines of cars, so people didn't believe that it was causing cancer. And then you had Freon in the refrigerators, which caused the hole in the ozone layer.
Right.
Which also caused cancer, and people didn't want to get rid of. And this all in a video about climate change, which is going to screw humanity even more, and they also don't want to get rid of. I thought that was a nice piece of irony in the video.
It is. You know what else is funny, Peter, about the chlorofluorocarbon thing is a lot of companies actually stopped putting chlorofluorocarbons in their their refrigerants, and people stopped buying hairspray with it before we ultimately outlawed it. We just banned it legislatively. But which I think is kind of cool. Which that's really interesting to me because in the book Merchants of Doubt they talk about that. I have that up on the shelf over there. And I think that's cool because it shows that people used to take experts more seriously. The same thing happened for cigarettes when it first came out that cigarettes cause or smoking caused lung cancer. The cigarette sales dropped precipitously, and they're still I believe lower today relative to where they were prior. But that's really interesting to me that people they heard that advice and they were like, oh, we should trust the experts on this. Whereas nowadays they'd be like, these experts are shills, we can't trust them. Joe Rogan said you can eat cigarettes, actually. It's good for you.
Did he really say that?
No, I don't think so. I was just making.
I wouldn't put it past Joe Rogan to eat cigarettes.
I was just being hyperbolic, but doesn't that sound like something he would say? I don't know. Smitty also makes the good point. A ton of Americans stay home during elections, especially primaries, and they act shocked when the election happens. And the biggest goobers that only appeal to party loyalists get elected. 100%. I 1000% agree with you on that. I hate seeing it's usually people who self-identify as socialists or communists. Not always, but a lot of times it is. I see them on Twitter say you shouldn't vote for Kamala because her policy on Palestine is not the best. Okay, that might be true. Her policies towards Palestine might not be the best. The alternative is Trump. Yeah. The alternative is Donald Trump, who wants to flatten Palestine. I want to point that out.
Wants to build real estate on Palestine.
Yes, literally wants to
New Mar-a-Lago.
replace it with real estate. And that didn't seem to sway any of them. They were like, "I'm not voting for."
I understand the sentiment. Like both parties are incredibly bad by not opposing the
Sure.
genocide. Yeah, it's really
Right. Both parties are bad. That's true. One party,
yeah.
however, is objectively better than the other
So
one, and that
like
the
at that
Democrats
point, I would
are
say
objectively better.
at that point I would say like pick the enemy you want to have for the next 4 years. That's what
Right.
I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I picked
you're
the
right.
lesser one.
Yeah.
Yeah, pick the lesser of the evil. I'm sorry, like life sucks. You don't always get to pick your favorite person. Sorry, Bernie Sanders is not going to be president this time around. I'm sorry. You got to still go with the person who's better than Donald Trump. And it just oh god. Just like yeah, I don't know. I'm very upset with people when I see that kind of stuff, when I see people who are ostensibly leftists saying don't vote. It's like no, get out and vote if you want. If you voted in the elections prior to this, maybe you would have a different candidate now. Who's to say? But sorry, this is the candidate we now have, so this is the one you need to vote for. Like I
And
just oh
I guess
you
also
know
like in order to get if you want to have like a multiple party system, like more than two parties,
yeah.
what you need to have is like ranked choice voting. That's
Yes.
a big one. And who are in favor of ranked choice voting? It's mostly Democrats. The
Yes.
Republicans are
Yes.
vehemently against ranked choice voting.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
very often they will explicitly say that, oh, I don't believe most people should vote, or everybody. I don't believe everybody should vote.
So
Yeah.
in the one of the books I'm reading right now, Peter, you can pull us off this screen. I think we're done. So I'm reading this book right now titled "Fighting Poverty in the U.S. and Europe" by Alessina and Glazer. And in this book, they talk about the history of the welfare systems and why they're different between the U.S. and Europe. And one of the things they talk about are they offer explanations as to why the welfare systems are different between the US and Europe. Why is the American welfare system so much worse? One is we have a majoritarian system, so every district gets one or the other. There's no proportional system of representation. And they actually go through the history of how some American politicians during the progressive era, so like the 19 teens and 20s, how they attempted to push for proportional representation systems, and they were rebuffed by conservatives who said, if you like proportional representation, that's what the communists like. And then in the 30s and 40s, they said, that's what the Nazis like. And then also that's what the communists like. Because in large part, the people who were against proportional representation were against the franchise being expanded for black and brown citizens. Basically, they didn't want black people to have more representation in Congress, which is always an issue. I mean, even today, I believe in Congress, or sorry, at the very least in the House, they just passed a bill, or it is advancing to the Senate, that says like you have to have photo ID with you when you go to vote, which is a thing we already have. And so what's funny about this is Republicans pitch this as like, well, we have to have photo ID so you can verify that you're the person who's on the list when you go to vote. But like, one, we already do that. And two, if you're actually interested in solving this problem, why don't we just get the government to send us like photo IDs, for instance? So you have to go get your ID, right? Why don't we have a branch of the government whose job it is to make sure that we get our IDs, right? So it's provided to us as taxpayer funded. And that way everybody gets their ID. Everyone who's a citizen gets their ID. If you really wanted to solve the problem, you could do that. Republicans don't want to solve the problem. They want black people to not vote. That's what they're actually about. So yeah, they don't.
I'm fully expecting that when the midterms roll around, they will make up an excuse like, there are like a gang of like a secret gang who are handing out fake ideas to immigrants or something like that, and
Right.
then they will declare a state of emergency, and the midterms will be cancelled. That will probably happen if I'm not. I hope I'm wrong. Sorry, Jackson. I hope I'm wrong, but
I also hope you're
fully
wrong.
expecting that.
I don't think the conservatives have the power at this point to do that. They are so overwhelmingly disliked right now
Yeah.
in this country that like districts that were like, plus like 20 Republican for Trump are now like plus 11 Democrat, stuff like that. Like they're like massively swinging in the other direction.
Even gerrymandering at this point won't help them. At this point,
They're trying. Like, darn
Yeah.
it, are they trying? But yeah, I think, and I think they recognize it too. Between the Epstein stuff, between the fact that the economy is tanking, like the tariffs were awful and everyone hated them. Just Trump has been all around a force for bad in the U.S. And so it looks like if things hold, there's always time for something to change. But if things hold, it looks like they're going to get absolutely swept in the midterms.
Also, Smitty, I also don't think they will be successful in canceling the midterms. I just think they will try to do it.
I think they'll try to pull some shenanigans, but yeah, I think
Mhm.
ultimately they will be unsuccessful. I agree. I agree with that.
Hasn't Trump already said that he's going to man the polling stations with guards to
Like
prevent
case agents and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I'm pretty sure that would also get rebuffed legally. He can't do that. So yeah, I think he would get in a lot of trouble for that. So at any rate, okay. Well, this was fun, gang. I'm sure we got through 10 whole seconds of the movie.
I can
and
check
then we will.
how far we were in.
Okay.
No, we got 3 whole minutes and 2 seconds.
Woo! 3 minutes, Peter. That's a record right there.
Of an hour and 15 minutes. So we're going to be doing this for the rest of the year at this rate.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
in terms of seconds, at least 3 digits. In terms of
Mhm.
seconds.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Peter and Nestlig, and thank you everybody in the live chat for watching. I've enjoyed having all of you here. We will see all of you next time. So bye, everybody.
Bye.